Hello, everyone, and everyone's AI note takers. It's a sign of the times, isn't it? Seeing how many AI note takers are joining these calls nowadays. Welcome to this latest look at the new release of Mercury. My name's Daniel Fox. I'm part of the marketing team here at Mercury, and I'm delighted today to be able to walk you through some of the advancements and new features that we've got coming up in the new version. For those of you that are new to Mercury, we have developers working on the product all the time. They're working in fortnightly sprints, and we like to get things into people's hands as quickly as possible. So we're developing products, and then we're releasing that new functionality, those new features into Mercury every 2 weeks. But in addition to that, we have 4 core releases throughout the year. Okay, this is the second release of this year, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So we'll jump straight into the slides. As I said, this is the second release of the year, so this is 2026.2. Some of you, if you're a Sandbox customer, you will have this already deployed to your Sandbox. You've had this for a week or so now. Most customers, most people on this call will be getting this release this coming Saturday, the 16th of May. That will be going out, so it's all ready for your users on Monday morning. And then, the Sandbox customers, you will get your live environments updated in 2 weeks' time there on the 30th of May. I'll probably share that again later on. It does say down there all dates subject to change. That's a caveat for us, really. There's nothing at the moment to suggest that those dates will change. So everything that you see here will be deployed very, very soon. For those of you who like to read the release notes, they are available now. They're on the knowledge base. If you go to the knowledge base portal, you'll see them right there, front and center. So that you can go ahead and read those notes, or go into the knowledge base articles. There is a release notes section. There's a couple of sets of notes. There's the summary section, which is going to cover it's a briefer summary, covers a lot of the things that I'm talking about today. And then there is the full set of release notes, itemized list, every single thing that we've done in the system. So depending on what level of detail you need, then you can go in and help yourself to that sort of information as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the release itself. Now, the entire philosophy behind this release has been about simplification. It's removing that everyday friction, those little delays that might slow you down, things like hunting around for the right button. Manually having to update 5 different records at the same time with all the same information, or having to jump between screens to find the thing that you're looking for. We're trying to clear up your workspace. We're trying to eliminate those daily headaches that disrupt your workflow. And we're trying to give you fewer clicks, much better visibility, and much better data inside your system. Data is key here, data first. So it's really important that we give you every opportunity to collect as much of that and give you the fastest, easiest, and most intuitive interface that we can give you. So one of the first things you're going to notice on the new release is a decluttered workspace. The old way of Mercury meant navigating through a lot of crowded ribbons, scattered commands, and let's be honest, they just create a bit of unnecessary clutter on your system. We're changing that now to and get rid of that more sort of confusing ribbon for a clean, customizable single cleaner ribbon, and this single Mercury action button. This button is going to be your kind of command center, if you like, across client records, contacts, candidates, vacancies, shortlists, the whole thing. You're going to be able to use that Mercury button to jump you straight to the type of things that you want to be able to do. 90% of the time, 90% of people are doing the same functions. So it's really important that we can drive you to those things as quickly as we possibly can. So this Mercury action button is designed now to put those things front and center for you and put them where you really need them, so that you're not looking around for things, but also decluttering, taking away some of those things that you don't use all the time. What's really good on this one, and something to look out for coming very soon, is we are going to be able to give you system admins the ability to be able to customize those lists, those buttons. So you'll be able to change the order that they appear. You'll be able to change what appears on that Mercury action button, and you can even change the labels on there as well. So if your business refers to something in a slightly different way to how we've got it in the system, you can change that to suit yourself. So that's not on the initially, but that will be coming very soon. This particular thing is going to be in front of all users. It's quite a big deal. So we have added some extra documentation into the knowledge base. So again, just trying to keep that right at the front there, the detail there on that new Mercury action button, so that everyone can be up to date on exactly what's going on. Okay, this next update, it actually takes away all the guesswork out of how you're tracking interactions. If you're anything like me, you've probably looked at last contacted field and wonder, does an unanswered email or an unanswered voicemail really count as a contact? You don't have to worry about that anymore, because you now have total control over the logic that sits behind that last contacted field. What that means is you get to choose exactly what activity really counts as last contacted. For example, I personally don't think that an email is a very strong indication of a connection. A phone call might be, a face-to-face meeting certainly is, but you get to decide now what you want those parameters to be. So that means anything you determine should trigger a last contacted. That's what will be in that field. The point of this is that your engagement tracking now reflects how you want your business to run, and specifically what your business processes look like and what your KPIs and measures are. So any of the reporting that you do, and probably more importantly, any of the prioritization of further work, is based on more meaningful data. Because it's working the way that you really want it to do. And that's a big part of what we want to try and do, is really get Mercury specifically working the way that you want it to. And I think this release really does that. I know there's a few clients been asking for this one, so I wanted to make sure that we highlighted that in this webinar as well. The next one is about speeding up how you work, multi-candidate updates. If you've ever had to submit 5 candidates to a hiring manager and you've had to go in and do it one by one, then you're really going to like this, because now you can progress multiple candidates all at once from a shortlist. It's a seamless single flow. You select your candidates, you apply the update, and you advance them all through to submission or to interview, whatever. You do it all at once, and Mercury will then trigger all of the other necessary actions that sit behind it. The release notes, we're going to tell you that this gives you a more consistent experience, and it simplifies what you do. What it really does as well, though, is it really cuts down that duplicate data entry, that multiple clicks, the stuff that takes time, but it also reduces your mistakes. When you're doing something over and over again, it gets repetitive. That's where people get sloppy. That's where mistakes happen. And that's where your data starts to fall apart then, because people aren't updating everything quite as they should. Being able to do that multi-candidate updater saves you time. It's really easy, and you're going to get it right every time. Sorry, there we are. That's the screenshot there. So I'm able to select my candidates and then progress them through in the same way. Another one of the improvements we've made in this release is how Mercury tracks and categorizes email activity. Previously, it was sometimes a little bit difficult to properly understand where an email related, or whether an email related to a client contact or to a candidate. A lot of times people can be both. They will appear in both contexts, and that's what we're adding into this now. Mercury automatically now looks at the sender's email address, and it applies the right context to that email activity. So if the email comes in from a work address, it's treated as a client contact activity. If it comes in from a personal email address, it's treated as candidate activity. That context is set on the email record, so it's much clearer now who that communication relates to, and more importantly, how it should be handled. We've also included reply tracking. So we can now identify when someone replies to an email that was originally sent from the business, and it records a reply count against that original activity. The reason this matters is because it gives teams much better visibility into engagement. We've now got cleaner, more reliable email data coming in, which is going to make your filtering, your reporting and understanding all activity much, much easier. And speaking as a marketeer, I like this because users can now see which communications are generating responses and which ones aren't. And if you think that about something like spec sends, that's where this gets really important. Your teams can now see which summaries are getting replies, which contacts need following up, where is the engagement strongest across your pipeline. So it's going to help you prioritize more effectively and be able to follow up in a more effective way, a more targeted way, and give that focused attention where it's more likely to drive the results that you want. And then we've got something that isn't necessarily part of this, strictly not part of this release, but it's happening around the same time and it's hugely important. So I wanted to show it here, and that's the new shortlist board. I'm just going to jump into a demo environment now just to show you some of this stuff. So here I am in a vacancy record. I'm going to have a look at the candidates that have been put forward, so you'll all be familiar with this view. This is the new board view. It was working fine in my demo a moment ago, and now there we go. Right, so this is our new board view. The first thing you'll notice about this is it looks gorgeous. Really nicely laid out screen there. It's really simple, easy to use, intuitive, clear to understand exactly what's going on as we make our candidates make their way through the board. It's really easy to use, nice drag and drop to move people through that process. Very, very easily and very quickly. Mercury's got your back, so if there is some admin to be done, if we haven't filled out all of the information, then Mercury will remind you and tell you what to do. So there's no chance of you being able to move candidates through a process without having the admin done. Without having the detail inside the system, right? It's really important. Mercury is a system of record. You've got to have really good, strong data in there. So we've got your back and we're covering you as you're able to move people around this board. So that's the first thing with it. These candidate cards can be opened up so we can see more information as we move people around. Fully customizable. So if you don't want some of these things to be shown, you can minimize them. And you can open them up depending on how busy you are and what you want to show. You can turn them off entirely if you want to, and you can switch them back on again. So this is up to each individual user exactly how they want to run their boards. If you find that you don't want some interview, for example, to be shown all the time because you're not in that one very often, that's fine. You can minimize it, but you can still, it's still active. You can still put people into that piece there, and as you can see, it's now asking me for some more information because I need to do that to be able to move this person to that stage. But the point is, these fields, even though they're minimized, they are still active. I can still move people in and out of them even if I don't want them on that view. So I can change my columns. Substatuses are also visible on here, but I can group by substatus as well. So as I'm moving people around, then it will group by, in this case, target candidates. I've got those substatuses within each of the categories as well. I can sort my lists. So again, if you're busy, if there's lots of candidates in here, I can sort these lists into various orders, A to Z, the date that they were created or the date that they've been updated. So you can move things around to suit how you work. And again, if you're in a busy environment, there's lots of people on here, you might want to use the compact view. So if you have a look here, these, I can toggle this on and off so I can see lots of detail or I can go to the compact view as well. Indeed, if you like that sort of compact view, if you have got lots of candidates to look at, you might also prefer to look at the list view, which is just one complete list, but the status now is shown in this second column here. And again, it works in exactly the same way. As you move people through, that will update. But we have these little drop downs, so you can click anywhere on the candidate's record to get some more information about them. For example, we've got their last 3 jobs there. It's the type of information that you're going to need while you're on the phone to a client, or indeed to the candidate. You can very easily jump into the candidate record as well. So we have these new candidate cards. Again, all the key information about these people. This actually is going to get a further update with some easy access buttons across the top here. But you've got all of the information that you need right there in front of you, so you're not having to click and move around looking for things while you're on the phone to your client. You've got everything laid out in front of you, so you can speak with expertise about this candidate. So that is the new shortlist board that's available now. That has been rolled out already. It's not necessarily part of this release. It's just something that's that we're very, very proud of, and certainly in testing this has gone down very well. People are very, very excited about this. It's a great new piece of functionality in the system that I wanted to share with you again today. No, I can't close it down. It's that good. It doesn't want to go anywhere. There we go. Right. And this slide here, I've just shown you that final candidate card. Again, it's just part of this goal to make Mercury much simpler and cleaner, take away some of that friction, make it more intuitive, easier to use, and quite frankly, nicer to use as well. So that wraps up the breakdown of the 2026.2 release. We've had a look at the new single action button, new email tracking. There's better ways to manage communications, better data being captured inside your system now, and I think smoother, more performant screens that are definitely going to save your people time as they're moving people through the process. If you would like to stay in touch and hear more of these updates, or just be at the front of the queue when we are making these announcements, then please scan this QR code. Okay, it's going to take you to a form. There's just 3 things you need to fill out on this form. I think it's first name, surname, and email address. But what that will do is we will then invite you to all of our future product update webinars. You don't need to accept all those invites, but you'll be invited to it anyway. We're just taking care of your calendar for you so that you get that invite as soon as we arrange those meetings. If you don't attend, that's absolutely fine. You'll still get a copy of the recording. So even if you can't make the meeting or the call for whatever reason, then at least you're still going to get the update and find all that information. So someone's just asked, actually, does the board view stick, or do you have to select board every time you go into the vacancy? You do have to select the board every time you go in, but I believe it does keep your settings to how it, so if you've minimized things, it will keep that for you, so that your layout will remain the same. But yeah, for the time being, you still need to go in and click that board button. So yeah, that's the subscription. Please do scan that thing. I'm sure most of you got your phones in front of you at the moment. So yeah, scan that, fill that out, and we'll make sure that you're invited to all future webinars and any other events that we think are important to you. I need to mention as well the Mercury Community Forum. This is your community. It's a great place where we've got loads of system admins on there who are sharing information, talking about their experiences with the product, talking about some of the stuff that they're doing in the system. But it's your opportunity to ask those questions. It's not a replacement for logging a support ticket. It's about, how do I get more out of the system? How can I develop things more? One of the benefits of the Microsoft platform is the extensibility. the fact that you can do more than just the functionality of Mercury as we give it. So this is a great place to come and share those ideas, ask those questions, and talk to people who have probably done it before or tried similar things or certainly face the same challenges as you do. So if you go in there and you ask a question or raise anything, you're going to get answers from other community members, other Mercury users, and the Mercury team as well. So it is a really good, strong, collaborative environment. So I'd urge you to join that. We also post all of the product updates and other news as well on there as well. So that will keep you up to date with everything that's going on. That is a lot. Thank you very much for joining me for this explainer. And just I don't think there's any other questions in here, but I will just go back and double check. And if there is anything else, then I'll make sure that we answer them in the community. So yeah, thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy using the new version.